No matter how much fancy equipment or strong strategy you have under your belt, unless you have strong camera presence, nobody is going to love watching your videos. So today we have part 2 of 10 steps to strong camera presence. Let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name is Liz and I help coaches and consultants add video to their business. Make sure that you subscribe so that you never miss any of my future content. Now, as I mentioned, this is actually part 2 of this full video because I am talking about 10 steps to developing strong camera presence. And that is something that is really hard to squeeze into one video. So if you missed the first 5 steps, be sure to look for the link in the description so that you can go back and watch that. And today we're jumping into steps 6 to 10. So really the idea with camera presence is that you want to be able to capture and maintain the interest of your viewer so that they lean into your message. Imagine if you had a great setup and a nice background and a really good camera and a really strong video strategy, but people just didn't enjoy watching your videos. That would not help you to actually develop a connection with that audience or to have them come back and join you for any of the programs or services that you offer. So camera presence is so important. It is one component of the greater topic of camera confidence. But once you start developing strong camera presence, at least you can ensure that you are showing up confidently and that people are coming back time and time again to watch your videos. So let's jump into steps 6 to 10. Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, these 10 steps are in no particular order. They're all equally important and you need all of them to come together to really say that you've got strong camera presence. So make sure that you jot them all down, and as you start creating videos, just check that you are doing all of these things so that you can get better at this and more comfortable on camera. So let's jump into today's steps. In part 1 of this video, we talked about tips 1 to 5. Today we're starting with tip number 6, which is aim to be a peer and not an authority. As soon as you start showing up on video, you are already stamping yourself as an authority and as an expert. Nobody will come on video if they have nothing to say. So you as a business person or a coach or a consultant or an entrepreneur, you've got experience in your own field, and that is why you are coming on video so that you can share some of that expertise. So we know this by default already, that you are an expert. So now the goal with video is to actually show up as a peer to the person who is watching it. Nobody wants to be preached to over video. That is just the reality of it. Somebody who is watching your video is genuinely interested in that topic. That's why they have clicked on it. Now, they are going to be so much more pulled into your message if you are talking to them the same way that you might talk to them if you met them out for coffee and talked about that topic. Nobody wants to be talked down to. So this means try to be as relatable and approachable and at their level as possible. We see this mistake happening all the time with people who are real experts in their field. They use all sorts of jargon and sentences and word structure that make the viewer feel dumb, like they don't know anything, or like they're just too out of the game to actually be a part of this conversation. So avoid doing that. Use the language and the jargon that your audience is going to understand so that they feel like you are an approachable person. Make them feel like you are someone who could have an open door policy if they ever wanted to come and ask you a question. This is how video can continue to open doors for you and help you to build more relationships. Tip number 7 is to aim to have a background that is pleasant but not overly distracting. Similarly, you want to avoid pure white walls because when you shoot a video against a pure white wall, you are going to have to pull so many tips and tricks to get all the shadows away from that. That is the real drawback of a pure white wall. On the other hand, sometimes we've seen people shoot videos where they just prop their device in front of them and it captures the entirety of the room behind them, including all of the items that are sitting there. That can be highly distracting for your viewer. Similarly, if you have artwork hanging on the wall behind you, try to ensure that it is just something that is low key, not something that has lots of words that people have to read or something that is just going to take away from your actual presence there on the screen. What typically happens when your viewer sees your video at that first moment is that first they will just capture everything that is in the background. That is the natural inclination. However, if you keep it very low key, then that background will eventually, in a couple of seconds, just fade out for your viewer, and then they are going to be concentrating on you. On the other hand, if you've got a background that is super busy with 1,000 items and then your audience is just focused on that, you are absolutely going to lose an opportunity to have strong camera presence there. Now, our 8th tip today is to be intentional about doubling your energy. There is no way that you can show up on camera with the same amount of energy that you show up in real life, because it is a well-known fact that camera dulls down everybody. If you sat with me in a cafe right now, I would probably be speaking in a certain way with a certain level of energy. And that is because you are just 1 meter away from me. We already have the interest and the excitement of being together in a place and connecting like that. So I don't have to up my energy there. However, here on camera, I know that you are seeing me from your own comfort of your own space, and you're not with me here. You can't read my natural body language. You can't hear my voice right in your ear. So I have to double that energy. That is the only way that you will actually feel like I am interested in this topic and excited to be here talking to you about it. Sometimes we get on live streams or master classes with people, and we might feel a very low vibe from them. That's not because they are boring people in real life. It's because they have taken their real life persona and tried to behave the same way on camera. This is why you feel that dulled down effect from them. Instead, on a live stream or in a live webinar or masterclass, you need to absolutely show up with more energy. That is something you have to consciously keep reminding yourself, to be speaking in an up voice, to be naturally gesturing so that that person watching feels that level of excitement from you. That is the only way to indicate to your viewer that you are actually passionate about this topic, because they don't have the luxury of sitting with you in real life to understand that from you naturally. So make sure that you add in this extra energy so that you can develop strong camera presence. Our 9th tip is also along the same lines, and that is to gesture naturally. If your video is angled in a way that your hands are not captured, it's not terrible, because at least your viewer is still going to get the message that you're talking about, but it would absolutely be better if they can see your hands. That means that they can just see the way that you are naturally gesturing, which would mimic what it would be like to sit with you in a cafe and have a conversation. When people can see your hands, that just automatically opens up that trust factor, especially the palms of your hands. Now, I'm known for being a wild gesturer. I gesture a lot in real life and on camera as well. But I'm actually not trying to dull that down in any way. I'm maintaining all of my natural hand gestures so that you get me exactly as I am. So this is something that really just helps to develop your camera presence as well. One thing to keep in mind is that if you are doing any type of shooting with your device close to you or with the webcam of your laptop, if you are wildly gesturing, your hands might go right across the screen when a person is watching on the other end. That is a big no-no. So do all of those test videos first to make sure that you are not gesturing in a way that's actually covering and crossing over the camera lens. This means basically positioning your device in a way that there is no danger of that. So keep that tip in mind as well. Now we're interrupting today's video so that I can remind you to subscribe. I think you should do that first. And if you're interested in starting to make videos in your own home, make sure that you look for a free resource in the description so that I can send that out to you today, and then you can get started with creating a tiny little home studio. So let's get back to our video. Now, our last tip today is one of the ones that actually makes the biggest difference, and that is to watch your speaking tone and your cadence when you are on camera. This means you are not going to be talking the same way that you talk in real life. When you see people talking on video the same way they talk in real life, that is when you get that flatline, dull effect, and then people will bounce off of those videos eventually. If you are talking to somebody in real life, they might be more than happy to sit and listen to you for an hour because, again, that real life connection is there. But if you bring that same casual, low volume talk to camera, then after a few minutes, people start getting bored and it makes them feel tired. So this is why, combined with your hand gestures and your doubled energy, you need to really watch the way that you are speaking. Typically, the rule of thumb is that you want to speak slower on camera so that people digest the words. However, this has to be combined with the fact that you are speaking fast enough that the message remains peppy. You don't want people falling apart and falling asleep on the other end of the camera there. So keep your message up and intonate your words. Don't just swallow everything the way that you might in real life when a person is sitting close to you and they can hear you. You want to carefully pronounce everything so that that translates well on camera. And your tone of voice is really important too. In real life, you might not be speaking in higher pitches and lower pitches and quieter and then louder, but on camera, that actually really helps to stamp your message. It makes people lean in because it's a little bit more animated to watch, and it just keeps them attuned to what you are saying. So add in a little bit of that natural drama to your voice when you are speaking. And it's really with the point of just kind of underlining and bolding the things that you are saying. Similarly, the cadence of how you are speaking, how fast or slow. After a while, people might give you some feedback that you talk way too slow on camera or that you talk way too fast. So pick up all of that feedback or give it to some of your friends and ask them what their opinion is about the way that you are speaking. Sometimes when we are nervous on camera, we might have a tendency to speak faster, so be careful of that. Now, of course, you want to keep your cadence at a nice pace where you are keeping your viewer moving along with the content. There's no reason to speak as slowly as you might in real life. In real life, that person is sitting trapped in a chair listening to you anyway, so they have no choice. But if you are speaking so slowly on camera, it has a tendency to make that person feel like this is becoming dull and boring. It doesn't translate out the same way. So do a couple different tests and then give it to people to watch, people whose opinions you trust, and ask them, do you think I'm speaking too slow or am I speaking too fast? Am I going too quickly that the audience is going to have trouble keeping up? This is also the tendency of people who are real subject matter experts because they talk quickly because they know the topic so well without remembering the fact that the viewer on the other end is struggling to take notes or to actually ingest the material. So keep all of that in mind as well. So I know that this was a really full video, and if you think this was full, don't forget the fact that there is actually a part 1 to this video. So make sure that you check for the link in the description below so that you can go back and watch that. But once you put all of these 10 tips together, this will really set you out on the fast track to strong camera presence. You want people to watch your videos and think that they are effortless looking, like you just rolled out of bed and just made that video so easily in one take. This is what happens when you develop strong camera presence. Not only that, but when you know that you are showing up with strong presence, it becomes a pleasure to make videos. You will start enjoying the process so much more because you know that your viewers enjoy watching it. So if you liked this video, I hope that you will give it a like, share it off with one of your friends. Don't forget to subscribe because every single Tuesday, I bring you a new video teaching you how you can add video to your business. So until next time, take care.